You know, we go around the country making sure that we highlight all of the Karens of the world. It's just too many for one man to cover. But ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would. Here's what we have today. We will call this one Swimming Pool Karen. Swimming Pool Karen with her other Karens and at least one male Karen. And I know we called them something else. What do we call them, Brett?
I feel like Karen. Ken and Keith are real close.
Close, and then I heard
Darren,
somebody else
maybe?
call it a Chad. I don't know. I'm just going to stick to the male Karen, okay? So you had all of these Karens at a swimming pool, and there's this one in particular who was just really upset because two black women at the swimming pool had the audacity to show some love and affection. Now I want you to remember that this Karen started to curse, started to flip people off because she said the affection was just too egregious and that it should not be done publicly. But she was okay with cursing and flipping people off publicly at the same location. Here's part of that video.
Shame. Because they're white. How is that? That's shame.
Yeah, so she comes up, flips the bird, black women kissing, showing some affection. Now, let me say this. This Karen is obviously both racist and homophobic. If you are racist and homophobic, which typically they run together, by the way, a situation like this is really your personal hell. To come up against two black women kissing or holding hands or showing some level of affection, I mean, goodness, are we putting too much pressure on Karens of the world? Are we? Here's the other video.
Do you guys have any children? Do you have any children? Good, because you'd be a terrible dad. You'd be a terrible dad. What is wrong with you? I have never met anybody like you guys.
Lady, do the homework.
Are you
God,
I've never been more embarrassed in my life than you. I am a Jewish woman from New Jersey. You're a disgusting piece of
Kids here still have kids here. You're suburban, suburban.
I live in Oakland. You You're a loser and a loser of life.
Kettleman is the other name for the male Karen. I finally got it. The patrons at this hotel, one in particular yelling shame, shame, shame. Good for that fella. And remember, the Karen in question, she proclaims that she's a Jewish woman. And because of this Jewish heritage, obviously, she's not able to be racist against black people or homophobic. But it's very clear that she is deathly disturbed by this display at a hotel that people have paid to be at, by the way, in order to be on vacation. So I find it ironic that this Karen says this is inappropriate to do because obviously Karens own everything they come in contact with. This is her hotel and this is her pool. But then she decides to flip off people at this pool, curses, and obviously to her that is actually appropriate behavior. Brett?
I love it. I love this. This has all that, because like I feel like we should have some kind of scorecard with like check boxes to see, because not only is it like she needs to get a lot of points as a Karen for how non-inconvenienced she was relative to her overreaction, right? Like this isn't that someone came up and tried to kiss her. This isn't that someone wouldn't let her into the pool because she was kissing someone else. This is two Karens and a Kentleman and a Kimpton. Very difficult to say, but there's a lot of K's in there. Note the irony. And just seeing people kissing is such a giant problem for her that they need to then file out and make their grievances known. The other thing that it has, Starbucks. What is it about Karen that she always has like a venti iced latte, a Trenti or whatever it is, Like, that is just so, that's the uniform right there. Like, if you're putting together your Halloween outfit for Karens, you gotta go get like a giant iced latte that you have drunk already. And that's how she gets her power, by the way. That's the
that
Karen
is hilarious.
And then the Oakland part. Like, listen, it's the proximity argument. Like, listen, I'm not racist. I live in Oakland. Like, there are Black people there. I don't want to say it, but there are. And it did bring down my property values, but that's why I bought cheap and I'm gonna sell pretty soon. Like, that's the amazing irony where you just have to, like, I know a lot of people like this, you just kind of have to tease out of them, like, so why are you in Oakland? Why did you say that? And then
why she said it.
Yeah,
it's the proximity argument that you just said. And number one, she admitted she's a gentrifier. All right, that's number one. Irresponsible displacement of Black people. She's engaged in that activity. And so she just admitted it because she doesn't actually connect that activity to anything biased or racist, because she's literally trying to make a point or to make a case that she is not, in fact, a racist individual. But once again, we go back to a pattern. Here's the pattern that we see in all of these Karen stories. They think they own stuff they do not own. Now, where does that come from? I don't know, maybe slavery, okay? Maybe they think they should still own Black people. And I wanna say this about gentrification and a term that we know as white flight, when Black people move into a community and white people move out. And you will ask people, well, why do you think this happens? And they will say things like, well, because violence increases when Black people move to communities. Number one, not true statistically. And number two, that's just a damn lie. Because there was a time in this country, Brett, where the more Black people you had in your neighborhood, the better off you were as a white person. It was called a plantation. So they were okay with having as many Black people on their plantation as they could stand. Black people in the house, Black people outside the house, as long as those Black people were owned by them. See, the issue is you don't get to own the Black people today. And because you can't own them and tell them what to do and make them stay in their place, they become problematic just because you have the skin color moving into your communities that you don't like. Interesting stuff.